Hello and welcome to the Online Trainers Podcast, where we go behind the scenes to uncover the latest tactics and strategies top trainers around the world are using to get more clients, dominate their marketplace, and get their clients amazing results. There is absolutely no fluff here. I'm your host, Lynn Trin. Hello and welcome back to episode number 15 on the Online Trainers Podcast. Today I really want to talk to you about resistance. Now, it's something that is there, and Stephen Pressfield says it really nicely. Stephen Pressfield is an author. He's written a lot of amazing books such as The War of Art, Turning Pro and Do the Work, and he's said that everybody lives two lives, the lives that you're currently living and the lives that you're capable of truly living, and what stands in between those two lives is resistance. Now, resistance might be barriers, and resistance, as I like to call them, are generally excuses, things that tend to pop up. And so I really like this, and it resonates with me only because, with the Online Trainers Club, I want to build a legacy, and the ultimate goal is to help other personal trainers who are leaders in their own respective fields, who want to be the best of the best. You don't have to be the best, but if you've got passion and you've got purpose for something and you want to go out there and spread out your message, I want to help you be able to do that. And that's what the Online Trainers Club is all about. It's about helping you, live your fullest potential life and getting rid of that resistance in the way. Now, today, resistance is a very, very funny thing, especially, when I look back at my career and where I am today, as opposed to where I was starting out as a personal trainer and the steps that I've had to overcome to get to where I am. So I'm not particularly too old. I'm 26, but I did start out as a personal trainer when I was 17. So I got in nice and early, and that was the golden years. And, when I started out online in 2013, the resistance was the biggest thing that I needed to overcome. And a lot of the times I get this, like when you're starting out online as an online personal trainer, you want to kind of bootstrap everything. And bootstrapping means you want to go cheap, you want to do it yourself. And that's completely understandable. It's expensive to hire a web developer, it's expensive to hire a graphics designer, it's expensive to go out and set up automations with, 100 different other experts who could help you with Facebook and yada yada. And there comes a time when I truly believe as the business owner that you should understand the overview mechanisms of how your business is running. That is, what ways are you generating leads? Currently, we're using Facebook ads, and Facebook ads have been the in thing because, as Gary Vaynerchuk says, that's where the attention is at. And Facebook is currently the in platform to advertise because that's where everyone is at this moment in time. Who knows what's going to happen in 3 years, 5 years? But does that give you the right to kind of say, well, Facebook isn't going to be around in 3 years, I'm not even going to bother starting? No. And why there's a lot of people out there that will say, hey, that's only going to be working for a short amount of time. There is no point doing that. And here's what you need to understand. Everything is going to have an expiry date on it. We have a look at taxis and Uber. That had an expiry date on it. Uber is going to be, Uber is going to have an expiry date on it. And so you need to keep innovating within your business so that you're constantly trying to, someone said this quote, it was phenomenal. You want to innovate so much that the goal, I think it was Steve Jobs, the goal is to try to out-innovate your own company to make your company go broke. And if you can do that, then that's fantastic. Sorry, I'm really going on a tangent only because I truly believe that this resistance stands in the way of you becoming great. And where you are at this moment in time, you're a personal trainer who might be bootstrapping, and I get that. But in order for you to grow, you really need to have a look at maybe what are you doing in the next year for your personal training business? What are you doing for the next 6 months? What are your goals first? Let's figure out exactly where you want to do and architect that, because as cliche as it sounds, I can guarantee you if you're not doing well, you haven't sat down and done this exercise. I can guarantee you, I can make that promise, only because you know what? When I wasn't doing well, I wasn't doing this exercise. And it sounds really stupid, simplistic, but we have this reticular system inside our body that when we start to focus on a particular goal, the opportunities start to make themselves become more present, because now we have this level of awareness that we didn't have before. And so I'm going to go back into resistance later on, but here's the first thing that I want you to understand. If you're not doing well, if you're not where you are, that's because you haven't actually figured out where you want to be. That's because you haven't even actually given it a thought. That's because you haven't sat down and really mapped it out. And really, it's not just the one-off thing. Don't do it at New Year's. Do it today and do it weekly and reassess weekly. And if you're a personal trainer and you're just overwhelmed, this is what I would advise you to do right now. I'd advise you to set some goals. I'd advise you to have a look at, what you really want to do in 6 months, what you really want to do in a year, okay? How much you want to be making? How many hours do you want to be working? What do you want to be doing with your business? Who is it serving? And talk to me about the dream. Do you want to be running retreats? Do you want to be running workshops? Do you only want to have 4 one-to-one clients? Do you want to be running an online membership site community with 1,000 members? Do you only want to work with 20 high-end clients? What is it that you want to do? Because here's the thing, if you don't know what you want to do, you're probably not going to get what you want, okay? And that statement rings true. If you don't know what you want, you're probably going to get what you don't want. So that's the first thing. It's really sitting down, taking a few minutes and really architecting, well, what do I want in a year? What's my life going to be like? How much money do you want to make? Okay, and you don't generally, when people do this income, kind of ask themselves this question, they kind of say, I want to make $1 million. Okay, but realistically, how much money can you make? And I think for a lot of personal trainers, if the benchmark is $75,000, for most PTs, they're going to live an okay life, a reasonable life. And that's when you can start tapping into what I call your zone of genius, where you can go live your passion and start preaching about it. Because now, the first thing for any entrepreneur or fitness professional looking to build an online business and looking to grow their legacy, looking to move above mediocrity, is really getting to that stable benchmark. That's the finances need to be sorted. You cannot build something you're passionate about when you don't even have a house or a roof over your head or basic amenities. You can't feed yourself, pay the bill. So look after the finances first. And generally for most PTs, that is $75,000. And once you reach 75, that's when I urge you to start moving and focusing into your zone of genius. Okay, so architect your life within the next year. Figure out exactly where you want to be. How much money do you want to make? What do you want to be doing making that money is the second thing. Okay, who do you want to be serving and what do you want to be doing making that money? When you've thought of a figure in your head, you want to make $100,000 in the next year, what exactly do you want to be doing? Now, I say this because a lot of PTs just want to make money, so they will do anything to make the money, and that means they'll work 100 hours a week. They'll sign on 100 different clients. They will take on a model that really they don't really want. And this is the truth. And I only say this because I see so many people fall into this trap, because I was one of them. Okay, I wanted to make money so desperately a few years ago that marketing for local businesses was huge. And I would say I'm an okay marketer. I'm not the best, nor I'm not a beginner, but I saw the opportunity and I just wanted to make money, and that's how the agency got set up for dental marketing. Why? Because the opportunity was there and my needs, the certainty for income wasn't. Okay, and that's why I jumped into it. And you might be asking yourself that very same question at this moment in time. Where do you want to be in a year? How much money do you want to make? And what do you want to be doing making your money? Okay, do you want to be running retreats? The idea sounds good, but really think about it. Do you want to be flying over to Bali, and do you want to be, organizing yourself with retreat companies or hiring out a massive villa or multiple villas, right? Do you want to be dealing with the tech? Do you want to be dealing with flights? Do you want to be dealing with people? Do you want and you really have to sit down and do a self-analysis, okay? But the first step is setting yourself up for a goal. And I guarantee you that if you're not having that success that you currently, desire or want, or it comes along like, I wish I had more money. And as Tony Robbins says, well, here's 50 cents. There you go. Move along, right? You've got more money. If you ask for vague things, you're going to get vague results. You're going to get the results, but they're going to be so vague. And it's because you didn't ask for what you really wanted. So you got what you didn't want. Okay, and it's as simple as that. So I urge you today, after this podcast, your one task, and we'll go through resistance in another podcast and how you overcome it. But really, I want you to sit down and set some solid goals. I really want you to map out, well, what's your next 6 months going to look like? So then the action steps that you take today will lead you there. Now, the action steps, and what I mean by that is I get that you need to make money today. I get that, 80% of your work will have to be generating, doing things that you don't want to be doing to make the money. And I get that, and that's true. But you've got 20% where you should be focusing on building that bigger vision and bigger goal. And within 6 months, within the next year, you can actually spend more time. That 20% will now suddenly shift to 70% because now your passion or what you're doing, what you're completely passionate about is actually going to make you money. Okay, but it all starts with setting up some goals. And in the next podcast, I really want to talk about overcoming resistance, only because, this stuff really excites me as well. This personal development, whilst marketing strategies and sales and persuasion, that really gets me pumping as well, because I know that marketing and sales is your ticket to freedom. But truth be told, if you're marketing and selling a crap product, you're not going to be free. Okay, so the first things first is to make sure that you have an awesome product that gets your clients results. And I'm assuming because you're listening to this, you're figuring out, okay, how can I get my niche better results? How can I give them more and ask for less? How can I make this more effective, more simple? Because I understand that they don't need more information. They need simplicity. Okay. If you make your program complex, they're not going to follow through. If I made this podcast and I gave you in one podcast episode 100 things to do, you'll be like, yeah, great. Good one, Lynn. Good one. And so I really want you to take that on board, and understanding what drives people to do what they do will really get you that level of success within your clients and their results. Now, moving on from there, once you've crafted a great product, you really need to understand how to market and sell it. You need to go out there and you need to have a look at learning direct response marketing. And that is putting an ad out and seeing a return in investment. So setting up some metrics, okay? Now, I'm going to be talking about branding only because I truly think that branding and authority building and expertise building and being known as the number one trusted advisor in your niche is so important. It's so underlooked because everyone is becoming a direct response marketer these days. Not necessarily a good one, but we see so many ads out there that who really stands out. And that the next thing is positioning, which I'm going to get into another topic. But the last thing is then you need to understand how to sell, and the fastest way is to go over the phone and sell. But moving forward, it's kind of, you need to really architect, well, what business model do you want? Do you want to go off there and have 1,000, do you want to have 1,000 members paying $30 a month in your membership site? Do you want to run that community and creating content for that? Do you want to be running retreats? Do you want to be running seminars and strength workshops around the world? Do you want to become a thought leader? Someone like, Charles Poliquin in your area of field. And so if you do, a year from now, you can kind of reverse engineer, well, what are the next action steps that you need to take? Firstly, what content do you need to start putting out? Secondly, who do you need to get into contact with? Who's your network? Who does your network have to be in order for you to be that thought leader or run that retreat? Who do you have to know? And so this is when I say your ARS, I'm pretty sure I got that right, your system inside the brain can really detect, okay, now that I've got this solid goal, naturally in your subconscious mind, everything that you do, you're naturally going to be thinking about it. And so within your vision, within your hearing, within language, within people, within things on Facebook, things will start to pop out at you, and you'll see the opportunities arise because of this, because you've set yourself a goal. Okay, and I know I started out on resistance and ended up in goal setting, but the number one way to overcome resistance is to set yourself a goal. And I see this time and time again, only because I've been through this myself, can I really share the journey that when I didn't set any goals, when I just wanted more clients, I had shit all. I really, really had shit all. And it wasn't, until 2013 and 14 where I thought, well, I can't keep being lazy. I can't keep running my business like this. I didn't have a business. I was working, and all I was doing was one-to-one coaching, and I was writing people diet and training programs. And look, for me, that wasn't very fulfilling. And I'm sure so many trainers reach out to me and they say, Lynn, that's not fulfilling. I just don't want to be writing training. That's not what I want to be doing online. You don't have to use online personal training as diet and training. You're going out there and using the online platform to create your legacy, to create your movement, to market, to sell your retreats, your seminars, your workshops, your community. Okay, and ultimately your flagship system, if you have something so you can help more people on a bigger scale. So really, that's your number one job for today is, okay, and if you haven't done this, please go and do this. Where do you want to be in 12 months? How much money do you want to make? The second question I'm going to ask you is, what do you want to be doing? Are you going to be hybrid training? That is, you do have an online platform, but you still really enjoy the one-to-one stuff. Do you want to be running retreats? Like you can see yourself with a group of women running retreats and being a leader. Do you want to be that kind of educator? There are multiple different roles that you can take. Do you want to be the Charles Poliquin or working up until then? And the only thing that's holding you back when I ask you these questions on this podcast is really, when I ask you those questions, just think about what you just thought about in your head when I said educator, when I said thought leader, when I said, this hybrid training, and really ask yourself, look, are you playing small? Because are you capable of living up to your true potential? Who is the Charles Poliquin? Who is that thought leader that runs retreats and inspires women to grow or men to grow or male entrepreneurs and CEOs, And so who do you have to become in a year in order to step into that person? Because here's the truth. And the truth is everybody's evolving, and people say that, you can't fake, you don't want to be somebody else because that's fake. And the truth is, the person that you're going to be in a year isn't the same person that's standing in front of you in the mirror right now. The person that is your most truest capable self isn't you at this very moment in time. This you at this very moment in time is playing at a lower level with limiting beliefs, beliefs that you don't think you can do it, beliefs that you don't think you're good enough. And I've always told you that if you don't think you're good enough, go and prove it to yourself, go and train people for free, go and show yourself you're good enough. And the most important thing to being good enough is understanding that you don't need to be. As long as you keep improving your craft and understanding your craft and understand that, you're working in a specific niche, very, very easy to be good enough, But I really want to help you overcome these limiting beliefs and barriers, because it's just a whole lot of crap that's holding you back. You're asking, I see so many trainers caught up in low level stuff, such as, how much should I be charging? What software should I be using? Should I be using PayPal or Stripe? And these questions, whilst they're effective questions, that when you're thinking at a much higher level, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because you're so certain that you're going to make the money anyway that it doesn't really matter at all. But I really want you to understand that concept, come up with goals, and really, I can't stress this enough. Here's the thing, if you're not sitting down to plan out your goals, somebody else has a goal for you, You know the cliches, you've read all the memes. I'm just here to remind you to do it, I'm here to get you to implement it, because a lot of the times, I know I've read this 100 times, and it wasn't until the 101st time that I actually did something. And for you, this could be the 101st time. And if it is, fantastic. I want to be able to go and say, right, this was the turning point for you. So please go and architect your life and what you want to do in a year. Do you see yourself as being this thought leader, this expert, this retreat runner, this inspiring person that changes people's lives and you create a community? What do you see for yourself within the next year? And then from there, start slowly working towards it. And what I mean by that is, don't just drop and change everything up and lose your income and go all in. I want you to actually just go, look, this is where I am in a year. This is what I'm going to give. This is the timeline I'm going to give myself, and have a plan of how you're going to transition out. So you might be doing 90% one-to-one and then 10% on the online stuff, crafting. And if you only have 10% of the time, you don't have time to waste. You don't have time to look at low level stuff. You need to look at high strategic stuff on how you can move very quickly. But anyway, as you can tell, this is a topic very close to my heart. I'm very passionate about this only because I know you have so much potential, but you're getting held back because of resistance, and because you don't have a clear plan of where you want to be. The future's very foggy, and that's the thing. The people that really thrive understand where they want to go. The people that survive just live day to day. They open their eyes and they kind of close their eyes on a river current and let the stream take them wherever they go. And one day you'll wake up wondering, how did I get here and what's happened to my life? And that's all because you didn't set out with a purpose and a goal. So I hope that inspires you to take action. If it does, once again, just leave a review and comment there and just say, hey Lynn, the podcast about goal setting was amazing. Talk to me more about resistance, because at the end of the day, this is what I'm about. I'm about strategy, growth, both in your business and personally, but also having fun and enjoying, and I'll get into that. And that's what, inside Tony Robbins' Platinum Partnership Program, that's what I'm learning to do now. And so as I grow, I want to be able to share that journey with you, and I really hope you enjoy it. But have a fantastic day and go and plan out your goals. All right, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave me a 5-star review on iTunes, and feel free to leave a review, and that way I can respond and I can take that on board in developing content to serve you. Now, if you're not a part of the Online Trainers Club on Facebook, please do yourself a favor and be a part of the conversation. That's where I add daily tips, tricks, and strategies on how you can build out funnels, how you can get more clients, and ultimately become a better online coach. Thank you for listening.